Good afternoon everyone and happy Sunday. This is going to be another long video. I'm trying to do my best here, but I've got a lot to say at a time, so hopefully that's not too long. How are you? I hope you're having a fantastic month of March. Mine has been really hectic today. Very busy. Today is actually election day, so I went to vote this morning. I had a really good reading session as well, so I started and finished a book today, which is wonderful. I have to fight for reading time at the moment because my life is just so busy, through kind of no fault of my own, but also my own choices. So I've had to reconsider sort of my home organisation and kind of a lot of things really to just fit in reading time as much as possible. And yes, and other things as well. So I've been really passionate about movies and TV shows and fiction in general really for as long as I can remember. Actually was an avid TV watcher long before I was a reader. So as a child I mostly watched TV. We didn't have books at home at all, so reading came later for me when I was around 11 and discovered Harry Potter back in 1999. So yes, TV and film have always been a huge part of my life, and I have very specific tastes, as you'll see in just a few minutes. So I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about the films I watched and really enjoyed during winter, and I'm going to be doing these videos kind of seasonally, hopefully, because I have a lot to say, but I also don't have much, I'm not taking much time to film either, because it's taking away time from reading and watching. So I'd rather be reading and watching things than filming and talking about them, which I think is understandable. But yeah, let's start by films and then moving on to TV shows, and then I'm going to talk to you about another one of my passions, which is actually cooking. I came to cooking late also. I came to everything late, but I'm a late learner. I'm a late bloomer. So I came to cooking really last year. So last year I started cooking really for myself every single meal pretty much, and not just assembly but proper cooking, just following recipes. And I just wanted to talk to you about some of my favourite meals that I've made during winter, just to give you kind of meals inspiration, I suppose. It's not meant to be a recipe list or anything. I'm not going to link anything, but it's just going to be sort of ideas to things to cook if you're looking for ideas of lovely things to make for yourself. So let's start with actually let's start with the meals first, because that's the easiest part. So I'm going to be listing everything that I cooked in winter, which I really enjoyed, and bearing in mind that I mostly cook for myself, I have to make my lunches at home. So I bring a packed lunch to work for the weekdays. I have one working from home day, which is Friday at the moment. It used to be Tuesday, and at the weekends I have to cook for myself as well. My boyfriend does exist. He lives in the same house. We barely eat the same thing. We always taste what the other person is making, but he'd rather cook for himself and I'd rather cook for myself and give him a taste. And if he enjoys it, he's welcome to a plate, but mostly I cook for one, I suppose. So I made broccoli cheddar soup. I'm not too fond of the recipes I used, because I actually couldn't really taste cheddar. So if you've got a really good broccoli cheddar soup recipe for me to try, I would love to have that. It wasn't the best. It was okay, it was very eatable, but the cheddar taste just wasn't there for me, and I could have been improved really. I added, I think it was curry to enhance the cheddar taste. I read online that you could also add, which is a very good idea actually, nutritional yeast as well to enhance the taste, and I'm going to try that if I make it again this year. But yeah, broccoli cheddar soup. I made mushroom quiche, which was absolutely wonderful, with onions and mushrooms, and I believe it had blue cheese as well. It was really wonderful and a great kind of autumn meal. I made quiche Lorraine multiple times. It's one of my favourite recipes actually, with a green salad on the side. It's gorgeous. I made a molten chocolate cake, which was absolutely gorgeous as well. It's kind of underbaked a little bit, which seems to be the trend right now, but I love it. Kind of molten chocolate cake with a molten middle. It was absolutely gorgeous, honestly, and I really love it. I am a huge chocolate person. I always add one of my tips, I suppose. I'm not much of a cook, but I'm learning. One of my tips is to always pair a little bit of flaky salt to your with your chocolate. I think it really enhances the taste. I made tartiflette. God, I should make that again actually. That's one of my favourite dishes ever. It's a French dish with potatoes. It's kind of layered kind of thing, so like lasagna really, but potatoes, so potatoes, lardons, which is kind of pancetta or bacon even, so potatoes, lardons, and a specific cheese called reblochon, which is what I use. It's a French cheese, but I suppose you could use any kind of melty cheese on top as well. And I make mine with garlic, which I don't believe is an original recipe, but I really love the garlic here. It's gorgeous, it's melty, it's really, really comforting and rich as well. I love this dish so much. I made tomato soup, which was amazing. Actually should have made a grilled cheese sandwiches with that, but I just made tomato soup on its own and it was absolutely gorgeous to make it again. It was one of my favourite things to make. I made carrot cake, gorgeous as well. I didn't actually make like a layered carrot cake, just made one layer with a frosting on top and it was with icing, I suppose, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I love carrot cakes. Actually, the cake every year for my birthday, I actually order from this one place. That's kind of the best barbecue food in Paris. I can't make barbecue obviously because I haven't got an outdoors area, but I order from this place every year for my birthday. I order the entire menu, and for dessert I always order the carrot cake, and it happens to be the best carrot cake I've ever had. It's really moist, it's really gorgeous, very spicy, which is what I love about carrot cakes, actually the spice. And yes, so I was kind of hesitant about making my own carrot cake, thinking that it would not really be a match for this one. It's actually better, and I personally doubled the spices. I really love the cinnamon. I think I make it with cinnamon, fresh ginger. I personally make it with fresh ginger. I don't think it was the original recipe, but I personally use fresh ginger. I think it makes a huge difference. It's really good. It's kind of it really feels special. So I think it's cinnamon, ginger, I think there's cloves in there as well. I can't remember. The warming spices, absolutely gorgeous. I make a cream cheese frosting, and I just sprinkle just blended I think nuts on top really. So it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this chocolate carrot cake so much. I've made it twice already and a huge hit each time. I made a poke bowl, which was absolutely gorgeous as well, very fresh and moorish. I loved the sauce that I made, which I think was from Pinch of Yum. I think it was from her, but it was kind of a sriracha sauce. It was very good. I should make it actually with a peanut sriracha combo. I think peanut sriracha soy sauce together would be really, really good as well with ginger. I think for a poke bowl it was amazing, and actually used that opportunity to make crispy rice for the first time, which was a huge success. I loved it. It's a really nice texture to have in there, actually something really crunchy to bite onto, so that was really good. I made pasta carbonara. This actually eludes me. It's my favourite dish. It's my favourite pasta dish. I will always order pasta carbonara when at an Italian restaurant, and I can't make this dish actually. I've tried multiple times, like 3-4 times already, and each time I scramble the eggs. The sauce is too liquidy, or so I scramble the eggs so it's cooked for too long and at too high temperature. The sauce is too liquidy, so I haven't cooked it enough. So I just can't find the middle really, and I'm just so frustrated by pasta carbonara because again it's one of my favourite dishes ever, and I thought, well, this isn't going to cook really. I'd rather just cook all of my favourite things, and this was top of my list, and I still haven't mastered the technique to make it properly. So I'm going to try again actually, because I found another way to make it, which seems to, like, it uses a double boiler, and you have to make some kind of a paste first with the eggs and the pecorino. I use pecorino, I use pecorino romano, I use pancetta, I've used pecorino and parmesan, a mixture of both. I've used, yes, so I think I'm making it with the right ingredients. I'm just not, what am I saying? I'm not using pancetta at all. I'm using guanciale. I'm so sorry. I've tried actually with pancetta, thinking, well, I just want to see like what the taste difference is. Guanciale has much more fat, which makes it easier to make an emulsification. Anyway, I've watched tons of videos, I've read tons of recipes, and I still can't master pasta carbonara. So I'm going to make another try actually with a new recipe and see how that goes. I'm just so frustrated. I made a pear and chocolate crisp, which was so excellent. I love pears so much in winter much more than apples. I think they're just more elegant tasting, and I just love the taste. So clear and fresh and absolutely gorgeous. I have a really good grocer who sells absolutely beautiful lush pears, and I absolutely love the pear and chocolate crisp that I made. It was one of my favourite recipes actually last year. I made a carrot, clementine and cumin soup. It was fine. It wasn't as good as tomato soup. I think carrot in this soup is a little bit, not weird, but because there's still, I blended really fine and really blended a lot, but it's still got carrot bites to it, and I don't know if I really like that texture. So I think a puree might be the answer, like mashed carrot and potato, I don't know, mashed potato and carrot, I suppose. I don't know, I should make it again but different. The clementine was really good addition to this, and the cumin as well. I made chicken and broccoli noodles. I think it was okay, but I should have made more sauce, I suppose, and I should have made the sauce more liquid and oily. It just didn't have enough sauce, and it was a bit dry. I should make it again actually. I think I made it twice, and twice had the same kind of problem to me. I should say that none of these were to the point where anything could not be eaten. So my boyfriend was happy to eat my leftovers, but I wasn't happy. I'm a very picky eater when it comes to anything really. There's nothing in the world so far that I haven't liked. There's no single ingredient that I don't like, but I'm very picky when it comes to cooking on my own and cooking food for myself, and I have a very specific palate, I suppose you could say, in that I'm very picky. I just like nothing but the best, I suppose, and yeah, it makes it really hard to cook to my own specifications. Sorry, I made tiramisu so many times. It's so good. God, it's my favorite dessert actually. It's my favorite dessert, and knowing that I can make my favorite dessert from scratch by myself in huge quantities makes me so happy. I've made tiramisu so many times. I've had it for breakfast, I've had it for dessert, I've had it for days on end. It's gorgeous, honestly. It's very simple. It is so Moorish and so good. I change nothing. I just make the original tiramisu recipe, and it's gorgeous. I make salmon pasta. I'm actually kind of famous in my household of two people for my salmon pasta now. It's super simple. I use dill and I use smoked salmon, and it's actually absolutely gorgeous. I love this recipe so much. Plenty of cream, plenty of black pepper. Love it, honestly love it. The dill is key here, and I love it with smoked salmon. I haven't tried it with fresh salmon, but I love it with smoked salmon so much. I made a chicken curry. I also made chickpea curry. I love chicken curry. I made it with curry, I think a blend of curry spices, and I also made chicken curry, chickpea curry, sorry, with Thai curry spices. So very different, the two. I prefer the chicken curry with a curry mix, I suppose. And I use coconut milk exclusively, no cream whatsoever. I use coconut milk, and yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of velvety, and I just love how I made it, honestly. I use coriander as well on top, so that's really good. Lasagna, I made it twice. I improved it each time. So and the problem is actually when you start cooking, you'll soon realize, I realized at least, that pots and pans are very key to a recipe, especially with things like lasagna, things which need to be stacked. So I have a huge Pyrex dish which I use for the oven. It's an oven dish. It's wonderful. It's really large, and it's too large for practically all of my recipes really, so I have to adapt. And I didn't know how to adapt it first, and so I made my lasagna in it, and it was missing a full layer actually. When I reached the top, I couldn't make it with a full layer, so it had two little lasagna sheets, and it had too few lasagna sheets, I should say. It had wonderful bechamel. I can make bechamel. I can't believe it. I can make bechamel. It was wonderful, but it didn't have enough lasagna sheets, and it just wasn't stacked properly really, because it would just crumble. The filling was absolutely divine, so I ate that with something else. But yeah, and I just absolutely loved it, but it wasn't properly executed. So I'm going to buy different oven dish sizes and try that again with a smaller oven dish. I suppose it's going to be better. I made some sort of Christmas salad with raw Brussels sprouts. I love roasted Brussels sprouts so much, almost charred. I love that. But I found the recipe actually that uses that. They use this raw Brussels sprouts, which kind of are cooked in the dressing, I suppose. So raw Brussels sprouts shaved on a mandolin. Really good. So shaved really finely. I bought that as well, shaved really finely, and with lardons you can use bacon, pancetta, and nuts and blue cheese. God, it was divine. It was so divine. Absolutely gorgeous, honestly. A little weird with the Brussels sprouts, I suppose you can't taste them at all, but I prefer that to, well, I mean, weird sounding, but it was really good in the on your plate. But the Brussels sprouts actually are much better than just plain lettuce and plain green leaves, I find. I hate salads with green leaves now. I just can't bear them. I made crepes multiple times. We have crepes twice a month in my house, and that's just wonderful. Crepes with, personally, I love them with Nutella. My boyfriend likes them so much, like he likes them plain. I think he's a monster. I much prefer them with Nutella. I've always eaten them my entire life with Nutella, but it used to be a special treat, and now that I can make them at home, again, to my own specifications, it's just wonderful, honestly. I make them really, they're really moist and really fine, and I just absolutely love them so much. I use orange blossom water. I don't know, I just love crepes so much. I made apple pie. It was okay. I'm going to make it again, actually, and I'm going to make it with Sally's Baking Addiction. Is huge resource for me. Everything she has on her blog has worked for me wonderfully, and she has a recipe for a cheddar crust, and I want to make that. Actually, I think that apples and cheese in general are such a hugely winning combination. I love that so much, and I can't wait to make that crust. I didn't make my own crust, which wasn't the problem. It's just, it was okay, but it was a bit boring, I suppose. I made, oh my god, my favorite dish actually that I made was a piece of steak. I think I used, I can't remember what I used, but it wasn't a filet mignon or anything, but it was a really lovely piece of steak. Mash and peppercorn sauce. Oh my god, I could have eaten that every day. It was excellent, truly excellent. It was one of the bistro meals that I made at home, I suppose. It's the first, and it was a huge hit. We ate that in about 2 minutes. It was so good, and the peppercorn sauce was amazing. I hadn't made mashed potatoes ever. I haven't made mashed potatoes in my life before this, actually, but it was so good. And I'm so happy that actually by completely a stroke of luck, really, I cooked the steak perfectly. I don't know how, but yeah. I like it rare. My boyfriend likes it even rarer, so it worked for us. I made gingerbread granola for the first time, and I can't believe how good it is. It's wonderful, and I keep making it actually every week until it runs out, really. So every time I run out of this gingerbread granola, I make it again, and it's become my morning granola. It's absolutely wonderful. I made spinach and goat cheese quiche, wonderful. I made a chestnut cake, which was actually, it was gluten-free, so it didn't have much of a build to it. For me, it was missing a crust. It was kind of a cheesecake chestnut. The taste was really good, but the texture was a bit off for me. It was okay, it was okay, but it was a bit off for me. I made mushroom pasta, which was so good, but a little bit one note. I should make it again with something else to it. I don't know what you can add to mushroom pasta, but I'd like to make it a bit more complex. I made potato and leek soup. It was so good. I made a tuna and tomato quiche, excellent. I made a lemon cake, which was really moist. Actually made it kind of syrup and just pierced the cake beforehand. Well, actually at the end of the cooking, I pierced the cake multiple times using a toothpick, and I drenched it with a kind of a lemon syrup on top, so that it could soak through the cake and make it to kind of a loaf and make it not too dry. It was very good. Next time I'm going to make it with fresh ginger, actually added to it as well. I made chili con carne and cornbread, otherworldly, both actually. It's a recipe from BBC Good Food, and the cornbread is a recipe from Sally's Baking Addiction. Absolutely wonderful. I made an olive and ham loaf, which I'm actually currently eating, and it's just wonderful. Today for breakfast I had my granola with Greek yogurt, my gingerbread granola with Greek yogurt, and on the side I had banana with peanut butter and cinnamon. For lunch, I had my olive and ham loaf or the green salad, and for dessert, I had a Nutella crepe. And tonight, I'm going to be making salmon pasta, which I'm going to be having actually for dinner this week, and I'm going to be making chicken curry as well for lunch this week. And that's it for the recipes. So I hope you enjoyed that. There's just, you know, a few ideas for you if you don't know what to cook for dinner or lunch. Again, I pack my own lunch for work, and that's why I have to cook so much, and I've been enjoying it so much. I've been learning a ton, and there's no stopping me. Honestly, I'm just so eager to cook now. It's become a huge hobby of mine, which comes out of nowhere. Honestly, I'm 37, and I love food. Like, food has been my number one relationship my entire life. I've just always been obsessed with food, but I've always been obsessed with eating it. I was kind of I would kind of rely on other people to cook it for me, or on things that I could assemble myself without really cooking, because I didn't have any skills in the kitchen and I was afraid of the kitchen. And any time I would enter the kitchen to cook, because I wasn't used to it, it would take a huge amount of time, would take a huge amount of money for very little result. So it took some discipline and determination and interest, I suppose, to start this journey. I hope it can lead me to so many amazing recipes. I have an interest in absolutely everything. There isn't a single ingredient really that I don't love, except for perhaps green bell peppers. I don't know what their purpose is on earth, but I'm not here for this. But yeah, the rest of it very much so. So I can't wait to go on this journey really of cooking with you. So, okay, moving on to TV shows. So TV shows, I watched a lot of TV shows recently, especially costume dramas. I've had a huge comfort watch session, I suppose, recently, triggered actually by Sherlock Holmes. So I watched the Granada Jeremy Brett version of Sherlock Holmes, all the seasons. I've reached the end. It was really good. I enjoyed it so much, especially on the treadmill. I've talked about that before, but I go to the gym at least twice a week, so usually the weekend, and I always bring an episode of something with me to run to, and it used to be the Sherlock Holmes Granada episodes, so I would take that with me to the treadmill to the gym. And the last episode actually had Kieran Hines as the main characters, and that immediately made me want to re-watch Persuasion 95, Emmy's Particular Lives for a Day, in which he plays the main love interest. And so I rewatched Persuasion 95 and realised, oh my god, I need to rewatch all of Jane Austen adaptations. So I'm on this journey right now. It's been such a huge treat. Nothing beats that, honestly, for comfort. So I watched Persuasion 95, Persuasion 2007. I watched Sensibility 95, Sensibility 2007. I watched Pride and Prejudice 2005, Pride and Prejudice 95, on the treadmill as well, and a bunch of other things as well. So I just been, yeah, and this made me also want to rewatch some of my favourite costume dramas. I came, I suppose, to costume dramas as a genre really through North and South and Bleak House and Pride and Prejudice in 2005. So that was a huge year for costume dramas for me, and that was my last year of high school, of secondary school, and so I just came to it as I was leaving my teenage years and entering adulthood, and what a way to do that, honestly. And so I rewatched North and South, I rewatched Bleak House. Perfection. This is my identity right there, so happy about that. And I also watched the Librarian films. So I had a huge kind of light academia phase at some point, and the Librarian films are very much part of that. So I watched them for the first time. They are about a librarian who is entrusted, he's a kind of a perpetual student, and he is entrusted with the role of librarian, who is a person who is supposed to retrieve the magical artifacts from history. So Arthur's Excalibur, all sorts of things, the Holy Grail, all sorts of things. So if he goes on an adventure, it's kind of Indiana Jones meets a library. So he goes on adventures and has a different love interest per film. I watched all three films and enjoyed them very much indeed. They're kind of adventure, academia films. I loved that, really enjoyed that combo. And I haven't watched the TV show yet, and there's a TV show and there's a new TV show, a reboot, I think, that's kind of being being broadcast at the moment. So I haven't watched that yet, but I want to. I also watched, again in the light academia genre, Bookish by Mark Gatiss, and he plays actually the lead character in that. He's in a lavender marriage with Polly Walker, who is divine. It's set in the just after World War II, so it's set in 1946, I think. And he has a bookshop, and she sells, I think she has a interior decorating shop and in London, and there's a huge mystery having to do with foreign conspiracy and that sort of thing. But at its core, it's got a mystery per episode, which they have to solve in 1940s London, just after the war. And I really enjoyed that. Some episodes I liked more than others, but it was very cozy, it was very brainy as well, it's very witchy. There are references to many things as well. I really, really enjoyed Bookish. It's been renewed for a second season, so I can't wait for that. One of the quotes in that actually is, "I must have tea. Without tea, I am merely unreconstituted dust." I love that quote so much. It's the main character who says that, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Malory Towers season 1 and 2. I love the books by Ian Blyton so much that I had never really properly watched a TV show, watch each episode back to back, I should say. I had never finished an entire series. I finished series 1 and 2. I know there are more, so I'm taking a little bit of a break here, but I'm going to watch them all at some point, and it's been a huge treat, honestly, and a huge comfort to me. Highly recommend it. And I also watched Sailor Moon season 1 and 2. Sailor Moon is my entire childhood. I am Serena, I am Sailor Moon, so it's my entire childhood, and I've been rewatching all of the seasons back to back as well. So I've reached the end of season 2, and again I'm taking a little bit of break, and we'll be watching season 3 very, very soon. So yeah, here are my recommendations for TV and meals. And moving on to films. Oh my gosh, it's been such a journey. So you might not know this about me, but I am absolutely obsessed with old Hollywood, especially comedies in old Hollywood. Comedy is my favourite genre. I don't really watch a lot of drama. It bores me. I love comedy, and especially romantic comedies, and especially screwball comedies. So that's what I'm always looking for, and I'm always kind of watching them over and over and over again, especially my favourites. So I rewatched all of the Thin Man films. I love the Thin Man series. It's about Nick and Nora, who are my favourite couple, my role models growing up, and my role models still. This is absolutely what I wanted, what I've always wanted out of a relationship. It's their relationship. To me, they are the perfect couple. Very, very Bentry, very funny. They have the perfect relationship. Very again, it's very Bentry, and all of their scenes are very funny. Their lines are absolutely hilarious. I love Nora so much. She's absolutely gorgeous, always elegant. She comes from a very rich family, and Nick, as a detective, is kind of, all of her family look down on Nick's profession. He's an amateur detective who is very obsessed with alcohol, and they live in New York, and they always have a blast and a party, and each film kind of features a party, and when they don't feature a party, it's not a favourite film of mine in the series. So there are 6 films total. My favourites are actually the first 2. I think they're just absolutely perfect films, The Thin Man and After the Thin Man, and the rest of them can be ranked in kind of descending order. So I would say that really my favourite is the first, or maybe the second. It always kind of varies between the 2, and then the rest of them are just a little bit less good each time, but they're still really good and very watchable. So yeah, there are 6 films total. I will watch them all, and I'm going to talk about them in a separate video someday, probably, because it's my favourite series ever, honestly, and I just absolutely love it. It's just full of one-liners. I don't want to spoil anybody, but there are plenty of one-liners, there are plenty of Bentry scenes. The main couple is wonderful. The mystery is really intriguing, although it's not my favourite part of any of the films, and I just absolutely love Nick and Nora. And there's music, there's it's just an endless it's a bottle of champagne, really, the Thin Man films. It's a bottle of champagne, and I can't love it more, honestly. I just love the series so much, and I highly recommend it. I also watched a lot of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies, in which he mostly, in my favourites actually, he always plays kind of a playboy who's actually trying to woo her and she's resisting him, and they dance to an absolutely gorgeous score and they fall in love through dancing pretty much. So I watched The Gay Divorcee, which it's got absolutely fabulous scenes, it's got fabulous clothing as well, it's got a restaurant scene which is so funny, it's got a wooing scene which is so funny as well, and her dress is caught in her baggage and he kind of rescues her and she blows him off and she has to get a divorce. So there's a case of mistaken identity because she mistakes him for the correspondent that she hired to be caught in an adulterous relationship with. It's so funny, it's hilarious, honestly. This kind of mistaken identity is kind of a running gag all over their films, really. The score again is absolutely gorgeous. There's Night and Day, the Continental in this film as well. Top Hat is another one that I watched. He lulls her to sleep by dancing on sand because he's her upstairs neighbour and he just makes too much noise for her, and to kind of apologise to her, he does that for her. It's a wonderful film as well. I watched Swing Time, in which Fred Astaire actually plays a gambler. I watched Shall We Dance, which is wonderful, except one portion of the film which is very much of its time and shouldn't have flown actually back then, but it's very offensive today, so I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know if it's a recommendation necessarily. But yeah, I absolutely love Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers together. I think they are absolutely wonderful pairing, and all of their romantic comedies really are the best. These are my favourites. So The Gay Divorcee, Top Hat, Swing Time and Shall We Dance. I watched a few others actually. I think I've watched all of their movies together, but those are definitely my favourites and the funniest, I think. I also watched romantic comedies and screwball comedies, which are just not part of the series at all. So The Thin Man and Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire movies are very much series, I suppose, but these are very much standalones. So I watched Monkey Business with Cary Grant, Marilyn Monroe and Ginger Rogers as well. Cary and Ginger actually married in this one, and he's a scientist. It's one of the sweetest, I think, depictions of a marriage which I've ever found, and he's kind of in his world, in his very much focused on his scientific discoveries, and she tries to keep it down to earth and tries to have him for a husband really for herself. So they're trying to find a way here. He has got a secretary, Marilyn, who is wonderful as well. Actually, absolutely I love Marilyn Monroe for her acting actually, and for her characters, and for her voice and her, I don't know, I just love her. I think she has such a presence on screen. I think she just plays beautifully and adds such a light touch to everything that she does. I love her. So I watched Monkey Business, which was so funny. He discovers kind of the elixir of youth and is transformed throughout the movie. Ginger Rogers actually drinks this as well. It's a hilarious movie, honestly, and absolutely she's the perfect wife in this, I think. Great marriage. I rewatched actually How to Marry a Millionaire, which is one of my favourite movies ever, with Lauren Bacall, Marilyn Monroe and Betty Grable, who are in New York actually, and they're tired of dating men who have no money, so they decide to date only millionaires and try to do everything they can to attract millionaires, and it's hilarious. I love their friendship in this so much, and Marilyn plays a really sweet girl who refuses to kind of wear her glasses in front of men. It's a gorgeous friendship movie as well, female friendship, and yeah, I think they want to marry for money really, but they get love in the bargain really, and I love that. I watched Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which again is a rewatch actually. It came out the same year as How to Marry a Millionaire. I actually read Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, the book. I read it years ago and it was hilarious. Absolutely wonderful. I highly recommend it, and I rewatched it actually, and I actually relate to both the characters in the movie, who are very different, to both Dorothy and Lorelai. Lorelai is played by Marilyn, and Dorothy is played by Jane Russell, who is a divine, completely divine. Actually, Jane Russell in this is attracted to very sporty men, and Marilyn is only attracted to money. And they are kind of, Marilyn is actually engaged to a very, very rich man, and who's very naive and very in love with her. He's a darling, and his father actually doesn't trust Marilyn at all, but she wins him over, and she wins everybody over. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, I love this movie so much, and I watch it at least once a month. So yeah, highly recommend. I watched a few other films with Malory or William Powell, who star in The Thin Man. I love them so much as a pairing, but I also love them on their own, and actually played together quite a lot. So I watched Love Crazy, which is one of my favourite movies ever. It used to be my favourite movie period, actually. I think my favourite movie period, I think it's Some Like It Hot now, but it's way up there, definitely. Love Crazy is about William Powell, who plays a man who actually lived in the same building as his ex. He's married to Malory, and he encounters his ex actually in the elevator one day, and there was kind of miscommunication happens, and Merv actually thinks that he cheated on her with his ex. So it's the dinner anniversary, they're having dinner backwards as kind of a reminiscing about the past. It's a whole thing. They are very, very funny, and the whole thing's actually is that Myrna wants to divorce him because he thinks that she thinks that he cheated on her with his ex. He didn't, but she thinks that. And so one of his friends actually tells him, well, you know, I think it's his lawyer actually tells him, well, you know, if you're crazy, she can't divorce you. If you're deemed completely out of your mind psychologically, she can't divorce you. So he proceeds to act he proceeds to act crazy in order for her to keep being his wife, so to prevent the divorce, really. So it's a hilarious film in which he can't do anything really. He can't. There isn't anything he wouldn't do to keep her. I think it's very sweet, and the ending is so fun. He actually cross-dresses at his own sister at some point. It's hilarious. I love this film so much. I haven't loved this much in a long time. It's just wonderful. And there's I Love You Again, in which William Powell and Malory also star as a couple, and he is a con man actually, and he, through a series of events, is an amnesiac in the film, and he has to and he falls in love with his wife all over again, and he has to win her back, really, because she was about to divorce him before the amnesia happened. It's a really great film as well. Not as funny as Love Crazy, but I still love it. And yeah, I think that's it, really. I am currently watching another screwball comedy, which I'm going to talk about in next time, I suppose. And oh, actually two more. I forgot. Just got my notes here. Two more. Wife vs Secretary, which is kind of a drama comedy, really, with Clark Gable and Malory. Clark Gable, Malory, and Jean Harlow. And actually, Wife vs Secretary, so Clark Gable is married to Malory, who is divine. Also, she's a perfect wife. She's always a perfect wife. She's always a perfect woman. But she's very much the perfect wife in this. He's very absorbed in his work. He wins a lot of money at work, and he's very absorbed in it. And he has got a absolutely gorgeous secretary, a very efficient secretary in Jean Harlow. And Myrna actually doesn't think that he's cheating on her with Jean Harlow at all, but everybody thinks that he is. And they spend many a night just working late into the night, and suspicions arise, and Myrna is completely, at some point, she's convinced that he's cheating on her. It's very sad. And the whole film really is about them trying to communicate, but miscommunicating. And there's a whole thing at the end with Jean Harlow kind of going to Myrna and saying, well, if you don't if you don't realize right now that he's not cheating on you, that you're going to lose him forever. It's a really great film. It's not a comedy, I would say. It's very much drama comedy. So I didn't love it the way that I love other films, but it was still very good. And The Bachelor and the Bobby-Soxer, with Cary Grant, who is my favourite actor. Cary Grant, he's a gem as a comedic actor, actually. His comedic timing is just impeccable. And The Bachelor and the Bobby-Soxer has Cary Grant and Malory and Shirley Temple, actually. And Myrna plays a judge who is sentencing Cary Grant, actually, because he's misbehaving. And as part of his sentence, sort of, he has to so Myrna has got a sister, so she's a judge, and she is a guardian for her sister, who's played by Shirley Temple, who's a teen. and as a proper teen she falls in love with every man that she meets, and she falls in love with Cary Grant, and as part of his sentencing he has to pretend to date her. She's about, I don't know, 16 or so. It wouldn't fly today, God no, but it's a very funny film, I think, and in the process he falls in love with Malory, of course, and yeah, the ending is really, really good as well. There are very, very funny scenes in this, and there's a baseball game, there's a restaurant scene in which the waiters actually keep singing happy birthday, interrupting conversations, which is hilarious, and I really enjoyed it as well. Not a favourite, but it was really good. I love, love, love comedies, and I love old Hollywood so much. I've talked about this before, but one of my absolute favourite dreams, one of my best dreams, one of the dreams I think the most about really is going on TCM craze. TCM is Turner Classic Movies. It's a channel in the USA which plays only classic movies, and they have a cruise each year on one of the Disney ships, and it's one of my absolute dreams to go on there and participate in one of those cruises. They have guest speakers, they have conferences, they have films you can watch from the pool on a giant screen in the middle of the ocean. I mean, there's nothing better in life, I think, and it's one of my absolute goals to join one of these cruises one day. So yeah, absolutely love, love, love classic films so much. Two things that I want to talk about a little bit is Goodreads and the idea of a personal curriculum. So I have been using Goodreads since 2010, and I have been posting reviews of every book that I've read on Goodreads. I've been doing that since 2010, and all of my reviews and all of my life really for the past 16 years is on there. And sometimes I would even start a review with where I was at the moment, what day it was, what I had done that day. It was a mini blog. So there's a huge part of my life on Goodreads. Something that Gina, I'm going to link her down below, but Gina Stanyer, I think her name is, Gina talked about is that everything is on Goodreads, but she doesn't want everything in her life to be digital just in case something happens. And I think if you've been on the internet for any number of years really, I'm a millennial, I was born in 1988, I saw the rise of the internet, I saw the birth of the internet, so pretty much, and it's evolved so much, and so many websites which I used to use are no longer here with us, and their popularity has declined or they have completely closed, and I don't want this part of my life to close, and I don't want this part of my life to vanish. So I'm trying to find a way to go analog, I suppose, and to rescue all of those reviews from Goodreads and to have a backup. I had a blog at some point. I actually I chose to not to renew my blog domain and not to renew my blog hosting because I wasn't using it at all. I love writing, but I just don't make space in my life for it, and I don't make time in my life for it. So I have to just find a way just to go analog, or just find another way, find another place, I don't know, to find something else other than just Goodreads, just in case. So if you've got recommendations, what do you do for reviews? Are all of your book reviews on one website, and are you okay with that, or are you trying to find alternatives? Have you found an alternative? I would love to know. And the second thing I want to talk about, that's kind of nothing like the other things, is the idea of a personal curriculum. I'm going to link a channel down below. I think it's CarolynMarieReads, who talked about that. I actually saw it for the first time on, I think it's Glambassador. I'm going to link her channel down below as well. The idea of a personal curriculum, that things that you want to learn for yourself and things that you want to acquire, knowledge that you want to acquire for yourself on the variety of topics, and kind of being intentional about learning about things in a specific way for your own knowledge, for your own expertise. I love the 19th century so much, and I've always loved it. I love scribbled comedies so much, and I've always loved them. I love Jane Austen so much, and I've always loved her. I love fantasy romances so much, and I've always loved that. So there are tons of Disney princesses, there are tons of things which I would love to be more knowledgeable about, that I would love to be an expert in a variety of domains, and I would love to kind of construct and build a personal curriculum for myself, and I've kind of always done that in a way, in a more of a casual way, and I would like it to be a bit more official and a bit more structured, I suppose. So I'm going to work on that, and perhaps, I don't know, film a video at some point if I manage to do something with that, or not. It can be just a hobby. It can, just absolutely be an unstructured, casual hobby as well. So I don't know, but I'm in the very first, preliminary stages, I suppose, of thinking about that in my head. So yes, I suppose that's the end of the video. I hope this brought you something interesting. I don't know how interesting that was. Again, I'm thinking about doing this seasonally, so the next one will be at the beginning of summer. I hope you've had a fantastic winter, and I can't wait to dive into spring. It's so exciting. I love winter, but I really was looking forward to spring this year for some reason. So I'm really looking forward to spring, and I hope you are too. If you are in the northern hemisphere, if you are in the southern hemisphere, I hope you enjoy autumn, which is my favourite season of the year. And yes, I will see you very soon. Happy Sunday, and bye.